Okay. So, guys, I just signed him. If you watched my last video, this is the client who I was in talks with. Okay. Secured a second meeting with them, met with them today, and this is their first time that they've ever worked with somebody like me. So, their guard was up. They had some questions and some ideas and some questions that they didn't even know that they had before they got onto the call. So, I did a good job of walking them through what it looks like to work with me and then the opportunities that could provide. So their gears were going, they were turning, but it caused some things that in a sales conversation I had to work through in order to meet the final destination, to get to where I was trying to go, which was to work with them long term, make the sale as they like to call it. There was some things I had to jump over, and that's what I'm going to talk about today in this video. So right off the bat, you guys, um, business owners are busy, okay? So they don't always and they can't always meet when it's comfortable or ideal for you. All right? So that was the first hurdle I had to get through. This client wanted to they wanted to meet at different times. They wanted to um talk about different things or I guess I'm kind of getting lost in the weeds here. What I'm trying to say is I had to almost bend to meet their I had to bend to meet and come to play on their field. And so what I mean by that is I was not controlling the frame in regards to the sale situation. Okay, they were controlling the frame on controlling when the conversation happened on their terms, time and in place. Okay, so that's where I failed. That's where I don't have enough frame control yet because of my authority in this space. Um, yes, I'm just starting out. Okay, make that clear to everybody. I'm just starting out. This is my second time bringing this offer to the market. I've tested it once. This is my second time. It went really well, and I don't have a lot of data to back it up. I just have a theory, and I have a lot of research, and I have all of this stuff that sounds flashy, but it doesn't have results. Okay, and that's what business owners care about. Okay, and that's what I can't guarantee. So when I come to these playing fields like today, where I don't have enough authority to control the frame of meeting on my terms and conditions, that's where I can be seen as a lesser of an asset to them. Okay. They don't think that. That's not what pops in their head. They're not like, oh, well, I can steer this guy around and he's going to meet when I can meet. And that's going to be how it is going to be going forward with this guy. And I can have him do anything I want. Um, so that's what I want to convey here to anybody that's watching this video with sales in mind. Okay. Make sure when you establish authority in your space with whatever you do, make sure that you're the one who's directing how to meet, where to meet, and when to meet. Okay. And don't be so flexible. Okay. You have things to do. I could have been spending time doing other things and servicing other projects that I'm working on right now, but I knew that I had to bend the knee a little bit in order to land this client. I knew that I had to chase his bone so that I could get my carrot in the end, if that makes sense. That might have sounded bad when I said it. I don't mean it that way. I just meant that I'm in a position where I don't have that luxury yet. And I'm saying for anybody that is watching this, they need to strive to get to that position. I need to strive to get to the position where I can have meetings on my terms and set them for this time and make sure they show up with unwavering focus and they don't have any disruptions throughout that meeting because they know who they're meeting with. They know and they have a track record, and that person that they're meeting with is somebody that can help them bridge a gap. They can get from point A to point B. And for me, in my case, that looks like bringing in leads and setting up automations for your business so that you can spend less time in your business and get more out of it. Okay? It's so simple. I just don't have those results. I don't have that track record yet. And so people can kind of steer my frame around. And that's what I'm trying to say right now. That's the number one thing that I messed up in this call. But the things that I did good are what I need to focus on. I need to be aware of what I did wrong, just like any student of any game out there, whether it's sports, sales, anything. You see, the best are focused on what they did right, and they're trying to patch what they did wrong, but they're not dwelling on it. They're not sitting in that place of wrong or where they messed up and being like, oh man, this sucks. Like, I just, I'm never going to have results because people don't want to meet when I can meet. And I'm just having to chase them. And this is ridiculous. The best guys, they wouldn't dwell on that. They would dwell on what went well, and they would move forward on what didn't go well and patch those things. So that's what I'm here to tell you guys about. So you can gain this experience through me and know that, hey, you might not have a track record. You might not have results. Doesn't matter, guys. You can pitch these people. You can land these clients. You know what you're worth and you know what you can provide for them. So go out and tell them how you can do it. And don't leave any conviction on the table. So what I did well, he I think he didn't do this on purpose. I know that this guy is a genuine great human being. And I know that because I met with him in person for an hour and we just talked, and we hardly really talked about what I provided. If you watch my last video, you'd find that out, that we talked about 90% of the time about him and his business and his life, and the other 10% was focused on what I was there for. But you would have assumed that I was there to just get to know the guy based on how the conversation went. But really, it was a sales process, and I was moving it forward. But what I'm trying to say is, because I positioned myself and I didn't come with enough authority, I didn't have enough results, I didn't have all of these things that might hold somebody up because they don't have credibility, they don't have the testimonials, the case studies. Because I didn't have those things, what he tried to do was not necessarily take advantage of that, but he saw me as an asset. He saw me as an eager young dude looking to be successful. And he had visions in his head of what that looked like for him and how I could bridge that gap for him, right? Not saying it's wrong, not saying it's anything. It's just the nature. And I don't get the wrong idea. This is what happened. He asked if I could be his videographer guy, the guy that puts together these crazy cool productions for him. And I just said, you know what, man, like, that isn't my lane. Like, that's not what I can provide. I'm focusing on an offer, I'm focusing on a system, and I'm really going after building that. And that's all I'm focused on, man. And I got to be honest about that, because I've been in that position where somebody saw me as an asset and they threw everything at me, and they used me. And I don't mean that in any way that's like derogatory, or whatever the word is for that. Like, they just used me because I was an asset and I'm a hard worker and I can get things done and I can figure things out and problem solver. That's a uncommon trait that people aren't using in today's world. So people see that, they see common sense, they see integrity, and they see those things, and that looks like a good employee in 2025. Okay, so that's what he saw in me. And I'm not saying it to boast or brag or anything, but I can understand. Okay, I'm now seeing myself, Luke Nelson, as a business owner, and I can understand why somebody would think that way, or why they would propose that idea to somebody who's in my position. Young dude, eager, hungry, looking to just provide value. I can understand that. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that's his approach. Midway through the conversation during the sales process and the strategy call that I just got off of, he wanted to push me into that, and he I shouldn't say he wanted to push me into that. He proposed it. It was not anything he pushed me into. Yeah, I can absolutely get the ads done. As far as the other things, I'm trying to build out this offer. To be completely honest with you, Justin, I'm trying to build out this right here as my bread and butter. So I'm focusing more on this and looking for clients that fit this, what I'm offering here. And so those ads fall in line, but maybe the other things like putting together regular content and doing scheduling like that might not fall underneath something that I can cover, just because I know what this is that I'm putting together. I see the value there, Justin, but I got to keep chasing this vision, if that makes sense. Exactly. And then set up those back end automations so that those those new outlets that you've created, nothing falls through them, and you grab everything that comes through them. So that's where I'm more so focused on the growth in the business and the strategy. Uh, the videography is something that I've picked up as a skill just from using my camera now for a couple years, and it's something I take seriously. But it's not like something that me I'm focusing on. If that makes sense. There are there are a lot of different ads out there that don't have 10, $100,000 productions, but they get millions of dollars in leads coming through the pipeline, which to me sounds like a no brainer for a business owner. That's what I'm trying to niche down and provide, because I've been in that situation that you described where somebody's seen me as an asset just because of the way that I'm wired and the mindset that I have and how I can put things together. It sounds really good from a business owner's perspective, but from a business owner's perspective in my shoes, it's like, well, I can't do that if I have something that I'm trying to perfect and I have a vision that I'm trying to go towards. So I've tried to narrow things down and stick to my bread and butter. Anybody who's watching this video and they're focusing on sales and they're trying to get better at sales and how to sell their offer, and they're looking to make money online and build marketing services and do whatever, you need to understand that part of your offer. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to be having scope creep, which means you're going to be coming into the meeting, coming to this client with an expectation of what you want to provide them. All of a sudden, you find yourself getting morphed into what they think they need to be provided to them. And those two things don't align. And it can cause a lot of chaos on your end, a lot of stress, and a lot of just messiness. And I've dealt with that already. I've had examples and I've had experience from just like normal jobs where that's happened to me, and I understand what that looks like. And that's exactly why I started a business, because I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to be that guy who does this, and that's what I'm known for, and that's what I do. And that's how you should approach your sales offer as well, because there really is no other way. There might be rare examples of unicorns that make it through by doing everything under the sun for everybody, but maybe burnout was involved in that, and horrendous stressful times and family and relationship struggles. And I'm not trying to go through that. I want everybody to know that I am right now engaged. I am looking to build a family and buy a house and basically be independent, like as far as I can imagine, independent. And you can't fulfill that if you are chasing every bird that flies by. And so that's what I want to make really clear about this conversation is that, guys, dial into your offer, know what you provide, be so specific about it. There's another example from this conversation where he didn't even understand one of my services until closer to the end, because he brought up something that I could relate back to a service that I was going to provide, which was one of the automations that I'm going to build in his company, in his back end systems. And he's like, "Oh, wait, Luke, that's what you meant by automations?"
Implementing it. It's something that everybody likes to talk about, but there's not a lot of proof in the pudding once you start. And that's kind of where we are really strong is the moment that a client starts even getting an estimate from us, the things that we're sharing with them, the organization that they're seeing, they're invited to a portal where they can review their project and see photos and all of our documentation, proposed schedule, all of it in one place, and we do renderings and 3D models and designs, and they'll have access to all that right after their first discovery meeting.
Mm, that's amazing. Yeah. Okay.
It shows a little
That's
bit of a higher level of um, technology, of care, of attentiveness, where every project can get all of the same features, basically.
sure. Yeah. So, Justin, do you guys have to send those out manually, or do you have something that is set up to ping them after that discovery call?
As soon as I put all their information to Discovery, I just share it to them and with their email because their email is associated with their profile, and then they just click on the link and they can log in. They don't even have to log in. They just click the link. It brings them to their profile, and then they can see everything that I did.
That's amazing. That's so sweet. Okay. Okay. I'm just thinking that got my brain sparked a lot. So right here, there's a couple things that I can set up automation wise on the back end here, and we can go in and make that whole system that you just described just the click of a button. So as soon as they leave that discovery call, they can go in and get those pings, and if they don't open it within, the first couple days because they got cold and they got a better quote or they got a quote from somebody else that they might like a little more, you're staying top of mind with these automated reminders to be like,
Oh,
hey,
this is what you mean by automations.
yep, hmm
Okay.
yep. So it's like, hey, don't forget about this quote and this sweet portal and this cool rendering that we built for you guys.
Yeah.
Like, check this
Okay.
out. Like,
That's cool. So I didn't know that's cool.
hmm and
I
that's
didn't
why.
know that's what you meant by automations.
Oh, what did you think I meant?
I thought you were talking about like automations in the videos.
Oh, and I'm like, oh no, I did that bad of a job of explaining what that means. And so, right there, I learned that, you gotta be focused on what you're providing and like over communicate it. Um, don't over speak or over talk or over justify, but you know, ask questions like, does this make sense after you finish talking about it? Do you understand this? Do you have any questions? Okay, that's what I should have done about on that aspect of things, and I failed to do that, and I realized it after the fact when he asked me, "Oh, that's what you meant," and it's like, yes, that's what I meant. Dang it! But at that moment, he was also like, "Yeah, this actually like adds a lot of value. Like, I really understand why you put these two things together now," and I'm like, "Yes, yes, this is amazing." So, guys, those are just three takeaways from the call, and there's pretty sales specific, sales focused. Take them, learn from them, take my experience, put it into your business, and watch it grow, and relentlessly chase after an offer that's scalable and makes sense to business owners and yourself. Okay, because you need to look out for yourself too. You might want to do all of these things in theory, but you have to ask yourself that painful question, like I had to here tonight on this call. Does it make sense for my future to be chasing and doing all of these extra things, even when the road ahead is uncertain? Even if this ends up meaning that we don't work together because I have to face the reality that they just don't see the value in my service. They would rather me be somebody providing something that I'm not. And that comes down to conviction and just your understanding of your identity. So I'm really fortunate to be having my identity in Christ, who gives me a purpose here on earth to go out and do things for the kingdom. And I know that this is part of that journey. So if you can tap into that, if you can understand what God has called you to do, and if you can stand on your identity and Him alone, then you can also have conviction to follow and forge your own path. Okay? Because He's going to write your story. And you just have to know that He is using it for your own good. And you might have to say no in that situation, and not be certain what's to come, like I was here. Ended up being a good thing, and we are now going to be shooting his ads next Thursday. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you. Bye.